Welcome to the Magnetic Presence Podcast. I'm your host, Joey Freddy Larson. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about the hidden leaks that are quietly killing your sales. That's right. So stay tuned. This is the Magnetic Presence Podcast. It is the show for coaches, consultants, speakers, creators, and experts who know that you're more capable of making a bigger impact, but you want more clients, more sales, and more authority without having to become louder, pushier, or someone that you are not. Every week, we break down the psychology of communication, persuasion, messaging, sales, and human connection so that you can become the kind of communicator that people trust enough to buy from. So if you're ready to stop blending in and start becoming magnetic, you are in the right place. So let's dive in. Today, we're going to tackle one of the biggest myths in online business right now. You've probably seen it all over social media. You've seen these posts that say webinars are dead, webinars are dead, webinars are dead, webinars are dead. And you've probably seen posts saying that everything is dead. Challenges are dead. Live launches are dead. It's like, it's all dead. And I got to say, I completely disagree. And in this episode, I'm going to explain why webinars are not actually dying, what is really changing in the age of AI, why so many experts are getting incredible feedback, but little to no sales. And we're going to talk about the 5 hidden areas that quietly determine whether your presentations create appreciation. Geez, thanks. That was great. Oh, so interesting. Thanks for the great information. Versus creating action where people buy. But before we jump in, I've got something super valuable for you, and it's free. If you've ever wondered why your presentations, your webinars, your workshops, your live trainings, your live launches, your challenges aren't converting the way that they should, you can go to joeyfreddylarson.com/score, and you can take my free webinar health score. In just a few minutes, maybe 3 to 4 minutes, you're going to discover the hidden leaks that could be costing you client sales and authority, along with a personalized diagnosis of exactly where you can improve immediately. So go to joeyfreddylarson.com/score to take the free webinar health score. So let's get into today's episode. Webinars are dead is what you keep hearing. Or are they? People keep saying that webinars are dead. And really, every few months, some marketing guru declares that something is dead. But before you buy into that, let's stop and think about what a webinar actually is. Before you decide, yep, it's dead, let's define what a webinar is. What's a webinar? Well, it comes from the word web and seminar. So really what it is, it's a one-to-many sales presentation that happens to be on the internet. That's it. So if webinars are dead, does that mean that keynote speeches are dead? Are workshops dead? Are seminars dead? Are TED Talks dead? Of course not. All of those things are alive and well. People have been selling ideas from stages for centuries. Sure, the technology changes along the way, but human psychology has not changed. People still buy when trust increases. People still buy when certainty increases. People still buy when belief increases. So what's actually dying isn't webinars. It's just weak communication or weak commoditized information, flat presentations, information overload, presentations that only educate people but never move them. So that's the big difference. So why this matters more than ever, AI has been changing everything. It can write your emails. It can write your captions, your sales pages, your webinar outline, your launch plan. Pretty soon, anyone will be able to create anything and create decent, average content in minutes, which means the information itself is becoming less valuable. AI is really commoditized knowledge. You can't succeed just by putting your knowledge behind a paywall anymore with a bunch of videos, because all of that information is available. I got a fruit fly flying around me here. I'm going to kill that fruit fly. Okay. So the information is becoming less valuable. So content is becoming a commodity. Your audience has more information than ever before. So what they're starving for isn't just another PDF or a bunch of videos behind a paywall in a form of a course. They're looking for clarity. Your audience wants connection, leadership, someone who understands exactly what they're going for, exactly what they're experiencing, what you're going through. And that means your greatest business advantage is no longer what you know. Your greatest advantage in the AI world is how you communicate what you know as a human being. It's your ability to create trust, to hold attention, to transfer certainty, to create belief. And that now in the AI world, using your human magnetic presence is becoming one of the highest value skills you can build as everything becomes more AI and more automated and more processized through AI workflows. What becomes rare and valuable is you as the human being. So it is one of the biggest skills. So that is why this podcast exists. I'll be talking about it forever. I'm not anti AI. I use AI for certain things in my business, but I also know that human connection and human presence is going to be more valuable than ever before moving forward. So let's go a little deeper. Here's the real problem that nobody talks about. A lot of people, you think that you have a traffic problem or an attendance show up problem, some kind of funnel problem, an algorithm problem, a problem with your slides, your scripts. And sure, sometimes those things are true, but far more often, really what you have is a belief problem. You're not building belief and creating transformation and perspective shifts within your audience. And I see it happen all the time. I swear to God, I'm gonna kill this fruit fly. This fruit fly is not gonna last this podcast. Stick around to the podcast and see if this fruit fly survives. So here's what I see happen all the time. You build you spend weeks building a presentation, working on the slides, or you outsource the slides, or you find your favorite AI tool now to build these slides for you. You have the perfect script, the perfect slides, whether you did it yourself, used AI, or hired a professional. You obsess over the slides. You rewrite the title 15 times. You buy another template. You watch another YouTube video promising the perfect outline and the perfect template that is going to increase your conversions. And then finally you go live and yeah, maybe people love it. The comments are great. Ooh, that was amazing. So valuable, mind blowing. But then when you get to the pitch and your actual offer, everything changes. The energy drops, the chat slows down, people leave, your sales don't happen the way you expected. So you've created appreciation for the information and the knowledge, but you haven't created action in your audience. And there's a massive difference between someone enjoying your presentation. Like, I don't want people to not enjoy my presentations, but I'm not doing it for them to enjoy it. I'm doing it for them to build demand and desire for my programs, to work with me deeper, to decrease objections and doubt and worry and inspire people into action so that they take action, buy into my programs, buy into my services, knowing that that is where I will create the biggest transformation with these people. So someone believing your offer is the obvious next step, but that's the gap that most people never learn to close. And here's the hidden cost is eventually this stops being a marketing problem. And often this can become a very deep identity problem because after enough disappointing launches, webinars that don't convert, a challenge that doesn't convert, live workshops or podcast appearances or stage talks that don't translate into paying clients and sales and revenue for you, you stop trusting yourself. You delay your launches, you punt it, maybe you take another certification, you take another course, or you go back to the drawing board, tweaking, and you convince yourself that it's a strategy problem. Maybe it's a launch mechanism problem. So you switch from challenge to webinar to live launch to sales videos to sales calls, and you just go through this endless rotation of tweaking and improving the wrong things. Because often what you're doing is you're protecting yourself from another disappointing result. And what that does is create a dangerous cycle. You get less confidence, so you promote less, and then you have less visibility as a result of that, which obviously is going to lead to less clients, which leads to less confidence. And then the longer it continues, it just becomes this vicious circle, this vicious cycle, and you begin to keep playing smaller and smaller and smaller. And I don't want that for you. So why have I become obsessed with this? Now for almost 3 decades, in all of my work, I've really ultimately been chasing one question. Why do some people command attention where they create trust, move people into action, while other incredibly talented people get ignored? And I've studied it through 10 years as a sales manager in financial services. I've studied that in live performance as an actor in TV, film, and theater, as a stand-up comedian, speaking, coaching, entrepreneurship. And for a long time, I used to see those phases in my life as very different things and almost separate compartments in my life, like different worlds. But what I've realized now recently is all of those worlds, whether I was a sales manager or a stand-up comedian, actor, or a coach or a business owner, they've all been teaching me the exact same lesson. And that lesson is that people do not take action because they got more information. It's like, I'm so overloaded with information. I'm so inspired to act. Here, take my credit card. No, it doesn't work like that. People take action when they believe, when belief becomes strong. And what are those beliefs? First, they have to believe that you and your solution are going to work, but they also need to believe that it's going to work for them. So they can see you killing it. They can see you killing it with other clients. They still need to believe it is the right thing for them. And they need to believe that the time is now, that this is something that they have to deal with now, that there is no waiting. And they need to see that the cost of delaying this decision, the cost of inaction, or not making a decision really is a decision before they will take that action and say, here, take my credit card. I believe in you and your services and the transformation. I believe you've helped other people. I believe you can help me. And I believe I need to do this right now because this is a big problem in my life. And the longer that I don't fix it, the more it's costing me, whether that's clients, sales, authority, or the ripple effect of my life with my family and relationships and all those things. And that belief, all of that belief is created through your communication. And remember that communication is 80% nonverbal, but you spend all your time tweaking scripts, tweaking headlines, tweaking hooks, tweaking slides, leaving the other 80% of that, which is your voice, your body language, your energy, your vibration, your frequency, how you're actually showing up. And these realizations have completely changed how I look at marketing, how I look at my business. Because the core truth is that too many people think your launches, like your webinars, your challenges, your 3-day live launches, your workshops, your master classes, your sales calls, your stage talks, you think it is a teaching event. Wrong. It is not a teaching event. All of these are really belief building experiences. And I want you to think of that word experience. I'm experiencing something, and I'm experiencing more belief that someone out there can help me, that I specifically can be helped, and that I need to be helped right now. But also in that belief, it's the belief in the transformation. So see your launches as helping someone believe that they can see transformation in their own life. The goal isn't just get people to understand a bunch of information. Here, I'm going to teach you a bunch of information that you could have just Googled or ChatGPT'd or Clauded or whatever. All that information is a commodity. It's not valuable. So you just teaching information, save yourself the time. Just send people a link or a ChatGPT or an AI prompt and say, to learn everything I was going to teach you in my webinar, ask this question to ChatGPT and save us all some time. But you don't want to do that because you want to bring in new people and new clients and new sales and build more authority. So what do you need to do? You need to go beyond teaching. So the goal is to help people believe in themselves, believe in you, believe in your solutions, believe that when they take action now, they will see the results. And also believe that if they do not take action now, it is going to be costly. It's going to cost them time, money, relationships, sales, revenue, authority, all of those things. Because understanding, if I just logically understand something, that rarely creates action. But belief is like full body embodiment where you get inspired, you get motivated. It's a feeling. It's not just between my ears and my brain, it's in my heart, it's in my body. I feel a vibration. I feel this frequency coming through. I'm lifted, I'm elevated, and all of a sudden I start seeing possibilities instead of doubts and fears and problems and worries and, yeah, but not me, or yeah, but I have this problem, or this sounds good, but. No, when you have full belief, all those worries and those doubts and those fears fade away, and that belief becomes the thing that drives you to act. You leap, and then the trust that the net will appear. And once you understand that, everything changes. So let's talk about the 5 vital signs of a healthy live presentation, whether that's a webinar, challenge, workshop, masterclass, stage talk, sales call. There's 5 areas that determine whether or not your presentation creates clients and sales, or simply creates compliments. So vital sign 1, your messaging, the words you're using. Yes, the words, you need to use the right words. You can't just have crappy words. We'll talk later about delivery and the presence that you hold those words in. But your messaging needs to answer questions like, does your audience immediately feel understood? So getting uncomfortably specific. Where are you using the words that they use, the thoughts that they think? If a video camera were to be watching them all day in their problems and their pains, what would it see? If you were to record their thoughts or look into their journal, their diary, what would that be saying and seeing about how they're thinking, how they perceive things, the lens that they look through the world and look through their business and look through the problems? Or are you just speaking in vague language that everyone else uses? Oh, if you're overworked and burnt out, are you overwhelmed and burnt out? I help high achieving blank become less overworked and burnt out. It's like it's just jargon. It doesn't mean anything. It's everyone's heard those words before. So getting uncomfortably specific, and that's where knowing your audience really needs to, like, the longer you're in the game, and that's like, are you looking at the comment section of your webinars? Are you looking at the comments online in your community groups? Taking their actual words? Do you do exit surveys and onboarding surveys to get their words so that you can be really specific? So, because what you want people saying is, oh my God, Joey, get out of my head. Get out of my head. How do you know me? You know me. Take my credit card. Because when someone is that specific, and when someone realizes, oh shit, they know exactly what I'm going through, that's the authority that they're looking for. And they don't need to doubt, oh, does this person understand me? They just inherently know this person knows exactly what I'm going through. Take my credit card. I know they can help me. You want people thinking that is exactly what I'm experiencing. And as soon as they do, that's where attention skyrockets. They close other tabs, they put their phone down, they stop looking at the clock or their watch, and they lean in, and they're like, this person knows exactly what I'm going through, so I know that they can help me. A vital sign 2 is momentum. Momentum. You need to see your presentations as an experience, as an event. Think about what you're competing with. You're not just competing with other webinars and other workshops. You're competing with the Super Bowl, with the World Cup, with movies, with Broadway, with Taylor Swift concerts, with TikTok lives. all these events. It's like you're also competing with other live events. People can go to a theater show, they can go to a concert. So you think just because you put an hour of content and teaching on the internet that everyone's going to show up for that and then they're going to stick around to the end? Think again. You were fighting like a very short attention span that has many, many options. And most of those options are way more fucking fun than a webinar. So, how do you make this intriguing, inspiring, motivating? Is it that you make people laugh? Do you make people cry? Do you scare people? Do you make people feel something? Do you make people shift their perspective? So, you really need to up your game and see everything like this as an experience. Like this is you've invited someone to a transformation party, to an event, to an experience, not just welcome to my webinar. I'm going to give you 45 minutes of information. I'm going to give you a boring pitch and hopefully you buy. No, you got to treat every launch like this is your fucking Super Bowl. And why would someone come spend an hour, 90 minutes with you when they could do a million other super cool things? So really elevate how you look at your webinars and your launches and ask yourself, why the fuck should someone show up? Really? What's our most valuable thing? Time. You're never going to get back. So you're going to ask a single mom to not spend time with their kids to come listen to a webinar where they could have just Googled the information. You just taught them a bunch of shit. Why? Why do they want to show up for that? So it's an experience. I should have a feeling, an experience. It should be something afterwards where I'm raving about it. I'm telling friends, wow, I showed up to this thing. I thought it was going to be one of those boring ass webinars like everyone does on the internet. And it was amazing. I laughed. I cried. I had fun. I met some friends. I started thinking about stuff that I'd never thought. I saw a perspective shift. I actually started to believe in myself. We did some exercises, some experience. So where can you make it experiential? Where can you make it so that it's interactive as well and you're actually engaging with people? Are they doing some work? Is it a workshop style? Can you get people to be taking action all along, not just sit back and judge your boring information? And then when you get to the pitch, they think, oh, here comes the sales pitch. No, you don't want to do that. It shouldn't feel like just a random collection of information. Every single story that you tell, every example that you give, every teaching point, everything should naturally be building to the next line. So you should be thinking, not how do I get people to stay to the end of my 60-minute presentation? You got to be thinking, how do I hook people in the first 7 seconds? That gets them to watch the next 30 seconds. And how does that next 30 seconds hook them to watch the next minute? And how does that minute get them to watch the next minute? And then how does that first chunk, 5 minutes, how does that story get them to the next 5 minutes, to the next 5 minutes, to the next 5 minutes, just like 1 minute at a time. So they're just enthralled in it. Again, not checking their phone, scrolling, answering an email, watching the TV in the background. No, just enraptured, drawing them in because this is an experience, baby. This is something. This is happening. I've never felt this way before. I'm getting pumped up. I'm getting fired up. I'm getting excited. I'm getting inspired. I'm getting motivated. I don't want to shut this off. I want to be in this energy all the time. That's what we need to be building for. Vital sign number 3 is belief, your audience belief. People aren't going to buy just because they understand it. I understand your offer. I see all the modules and I see all the parts, and you got the community and you got this template and that template and logic. People are going to buy when their desire becomes greater than their doubt. So everything in your presentation only serves 2 purposes: increase demand and desire, or decrease objections and doubt or worry. And great presentations, everything in there intentionally is increasing certainty while reducing anything like confusion, skepticism, objections long before the offer appears. If you're getting objections at the end, your presentation didn't do the proper job. It needs to be addressing all these things up front, not waiting for when people say, yeah, that sounds nice, but here's my objection. You got to deal with that and clear all that out of the way. Get them thinking right. Call out their faulty thinking. Call out all the things that are keeping them stuck. Call out their blind spots. Call out their obstacles. Call out what they've done in the past. Call out all their bad habits. Call a spade and deal with the elephant in the room. Hey, if you're like most people, these are the things that you are doing wrong. These are the mistakes that they're making, and this is what they're costing you. So call all that stuff out so that it's not just at the end of the pitch. People are like, yeah, but here's my objection that you should have dealt with earlier in the beginning. Vital sign number 4 in your live presentations is conversion flow. Remember, the whole point of this is, if you're a business, it's not just give a bunch of free information and call it good. It's, I want to, yes, educate you, and yes, change your perspective and help transform you and get you results in this presentation. But then the goal, really, if you're a business, is to get people to take the next step. And a lot of people think that the selling just starts when you reveal the offer or when you get to the price. And it's like, oh, now I'm selling. No, selling, it all starts, it starts in your opening minutes. Technically, it starts on the registration page and the thank you page and the follow-up emails. You need to be selling people why they need to be there, why they've made a great decision to join the training, why it would be a massive mistake to miss it, why they need to clear their schedule and be reminded that this is something that you need to go to and you need to attend for this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason, so that it's not something that I can shrug off. So that before I even get into your world, into your webinar, challenge, live launch, whatever the mechanism that you use is, I need to be already thinking, this is super valuable and I know that I can't miss this. This is exactly what I need. So every sentence is building buying momentum, or it's quietly leaking it away. And vital sign number 5 is your presence, your delivery. Again, communication is only it's 20 the words and 80% nonverbal. So your energy, your enthusiasm, are you inspiring people, moving people? How are you using your voice? How are you using pauses? Are you what energy and frequency are you showing up in? And that is the multiplier. So many people, you make the mistake, you're looking at scripts, slides, launch mechanisms, hooks, titles. Meanwhile, you show up, hey everybody, welcome to the thing, and here's my webinar, and here's some great information. Or it doesn't even have to be boring energy. It could also be, you could be that excited cheerleader energy, and that might not do it for you either. So you need the messaging, you need the words, then you need a great offer, you need a strong framework, but your delivery, it cannot lack certainty. Your audience feels that. You need to explain your perspective and your offer and your solution like it's gravity. How do I explain gravity? Shit goes up, shit goes down. Something goes up, it always goes down. Throw a ball up, it comes down. I don't ever explain it. If you ask me about gravity, I'm not like, well, I mean, if you do it right, for most people, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know about your situation exactly, but in my experience, when I throw something up, it kind of sort of usually comes down. No, certainty. Describe your solution and how you help people like you describe gravity. Or if gravity is not your thing, like you describe a sun up and sun down. Sun goes down in the evening. What happens in the morning? Sun rises again. You go to bed at night doubting whether or not the sun is going to rise. I mean, maybe millions of years ago, millions of years from now, when our sun explodes, maybe that's an issue. But right now, it's like you don't doubt that at all. Sun goes down, comes up tomorrow. So explain with that certainty, that conviction. How do you expect people to buy from you if you don't have that embodied conviction that you know you can help people? And most of you listening, you do know that. You have years of experience. Your work is transformational. It is powerful. You have changed lives. But when you show up live in front of a group, either on stage or on Zoom, webinars, launches, the way that you communicate your solution is not powerful. So there's a mismatch. And I've talked about it before as the presence gap. This is how powerful your work is, but this is how way down here, this is how powerful you're showing up. And people fulfill that, and they're not going to buy into that. I sense something. She doesn't feel so confident, so I'm not so confident. Belief transfers belief. People experience your conviction long before they consciously evaluate your words. They're just like, oh, that person that person believes in what they say. And there's a thing in online marketing which is very tragic, is that the people with the biggest hearts and the people who have the most transformational work often aren't the greatest marketers. You pull your punches, you hesitate, you feel a little icky selling. Meanwhile, the people who have the piece of crap, but they're incredible marketers, they say all the right things. They show up with full conviction, but they know that they're a hunk of junk. Once you get the credit card, that it's just like, yeah, I got your money, but this is the last time you ever renew or work with me. You don't want to be that person. You want to be the person who does incredible work. You're incredibly heart centered. You care about people. You care about changing people's lives, and you're able to show up powerfully and communicate that to people, because people are going to spend their money somewhere. And so if you're the type of person that has transformational work, but you're not showing up powerfully, you're letting those people down. You're letting yourself down, your family down, your business down, because they're going to spend the money with some other person whose solution is not as good as yours, but the person did a better job explaining it powerfully with conviction. So make sure you have that conviction and realize that your presence is usually the difference between a presentation that people admire and one that they actually take action on and buy. And they whip out their credit card and they say, I am all in, baby. Where do I sign up? Link me up. So the big takeaway today, whether you're running webinars or live workshops, master classes, speaking from stage, you're doing podcast appearances, you're doing live sales presentations, live sales calls, your biggest opportunity is not adding more information. It's becoming better at creating belief, because the people who master communication will always outperform people who just accumulate more knowledge. Oh, I'm the smartest person in the world. I have so much expertise and knowledge. I'm just accumulating, and let me just brain dump all this knowledge on you. That's not going to make people move, especially in the age of AI. That content and that knowledge is commoditized. People can get that anywhere. Why do they need you and your 30 years experience? They need you to be a human being with presence and magnetism and a frequency and a vibration and a conviction that moves them into action and makes them start to believe, yes, this person can help me, not this person has information that I could just Google or chat GPT anywhere. So to close things out today, if this episode made you realize that there may be hidden leaks inside your live presentations, again, start by taking the free webinar health score. Go to joeyfreddylarson.com/score. It's going to show you exactly which one of those 5 vital signs needs the most attention. And it's going to give you a personalized diagnosis and prescription to how you can improve things so that you're starting to get more client sales and revenue from your live presentations. And for those of you who know that you want to go deeper, I've started a new program. I'm launching it again very soon, called Webinar CPR. Of course, if you run webinars, but as we've discussed, a challenge is just like a 5-day challenge is really a 5-day webinar that's action oriented. A live stage talk is just a live webinar. Even a sales call is a one-on-one webinar. So whether it's webinar proper or any of your live presentations, Webinar CPR is opening the next cohort very soon. So if you want early access to that, you want to get access to some exclusive bonuses and be first notified when the doors open before I open it up to the general public, you can hop on the priority access list. Go to joeyfreddylarson.com/CPR. That's joeyfreddylarson.com/CPR. And we will see you in the next episode. And one final thought, I want you to remember this. In the age of AI, where content and knowledge is commoditized, your human magnetic presence is by far your most valuable skill. So keep working on it, and we'll see you next time on the Magnetic Presence Podcast. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.